Welcome back. We will continue from where we left off in the last episode. Hope you enjoy the show.
I have a connected question to the complication piece. So if you have not seen our previous podcast, we've had a lot of discussion around whether one should have a financial advisor or not, and what are the advantages, disadvantages. I'd like to know your point of view because you are sitting on a, and actually, this is my perspective. Take me if that's wrong. Sitting or looking at it from a platform that might not encourage having a financial advisor because you're doing the work. But yeah, on a personal fund, what's your point of view? Because you mentioned so many things. बंदा जो नहीं है फाइनेंस इंडस्ट्री में वो कहाँ सोचेगा? I cannot think कि I would think about so many things while making an investment.
So I think on your first point, one thing to note is while SYFE is the digital investment platform, I also lead a team of advisors. I myself was a private wealth advisor at Goldman. After my studies, when I joined in Singapore, I joined as a private wealth advisor to, obviously that was catering to a very different segment of clients, to the ultra high net individuals, etc. and all. But I've taken that experience to the more retail and mass affluent user base of SYFE. We provide advice to accredited investors because their needs are more complex and they do need help in thinking through some of these complexities. Other than that, even for retail clients, what we've observed is people just, the fact that you have an online platform does not mean people will figure it out and do everything the right way. I was surprised when we started looking at some of our clients, their investing pattern. Back in 2021, we introduced a lot of these thematic portfolios. And back then it was like this huge boom post COVID and everything was going to the moon. This was this meme stock frenzy and everyone wanted to load up on these thematic investments. We observed that a lot of people, they never invested and they suddenly want to invest into a disruptive technology portfolio, right? And they loaded up on these things. And over time, in 2022 when market crashed, they were like, oh shit, like, what happened? They lost confidence in investing to begin with. In my opinion, everyone needs help comes to advice. Platforms such as ours are making more intuitive. We are spending a lot of time and effort within our ecosystem to develop digital advisory capabilities. Where as people are trying to make their decision, you help them, guide them, nudge them, and help them traverse through the market in a more effective manner. The emotions of investing when it comes to market crashes and how you help people go through those phases is very important. Now, I think overall, even the most sophisticated investors who know what they want to do and they, are like, oh, I don't need any help and all. You would be surprised that when they have conversations such as this and look at their portfolio on a holistic basis, they also appreciate the advice that comes from that standpoint as well. Of course, for these folks, they are using it more as an intellectual back and forth, and that makes them sharper and helps them invest better. But most of us are not doing this as a full-time job, right? Like, I am, but no one is doing that as a full-time job. You have much more important things to handle. What that means, you need guidance and support and ongoing help to navigate through the markets, as well as complexities when it comes to tax planning, thinking about India, or if you want to buy a real estate, do you buy a property here in Singapore? There are so many things that can come into play. And, then, interest rates are going up, interest rates are going down, inflation is going up, inflation. So there are all of these things lay on our mind, and then we're like, oh, we need to do something, right? My view is that most retail need at least a starting discussion. They need an initial proper financial session, which can help them set up. The biggest impediment for a lot of investors is just the confidence to kickstart their journey, kickstart it in the right way. If you can get people to kickstart the investment journey in the right way by helping them identify different index investing or to put XYZ in this and have an XYZ goal where you have someone who's in early 30s, they have started saving a lot, but then they had just a child. The child will need higher education, say 15 years down the line. Have you started planning for it? There are ways to kickstart all of and have a very planned and dedicated strategy attached to each one of these areas for yourself. I think that gives a lot of confidence to me, right? Like, if you kickstart and you know that, oh, there is these 5 things that I want to solve for, and I have a plan for each one of these. People, for example, even don't have sufficient insurance. And again, I'm not talking about taking these whole life, etc., kind of insurance, but like basic insurance, etc., is very important. And what ends up happening is people take insurance and they end up taking those whole life insurance because now I get certainty that I will actually be getting back a certain amount after a certain number of years. Yes, I am insured if anything happens. So people are ready to put money into those, but when it comes to investing, they hold themselves back because they are unsure about the market and they're like, oh, market can go up and down. This happens. What if that happens? So I think there is also this thing about financial advisors where they are incentivized the wrong way. If that aspect of financial advisors, the trust in them can be brought back, then a lot of people will benefit tremendously, in my opinion, to the advice and the setup, and they have much more certainty and they can do life goals in a much more efficient and affordable manner compared to how they remain in that limbo and are not able to make decisions, etc.
Right. So I'd say you're pro advisors at this.
I am definitely pro advisors. The way to think about it is why don't you take an advisory session where you just pay the advisor for doing your planning?
Start with that and then you can see if it works for you.
There are fee-only
Smart.
advisors available in the market. People really appreciate the value they can extract because the advisor doesn't get any incentives if you don't buy any of his recommended underlying products. And you can go and buy through any platform, right? So that's the way to go. But it also depends on a lot of people, how much they are willing to invest into getting themselves up to speed with some basics of investing. Because it is now not as tough to get started. Typically, I would say you will need a financial advisor and proper planning if you have saved multi-hundreds of K and you're thinking of more complex situations like tax related, insurance related, then yes, go for a financial advisor. If you're purely looking from an investment standpoint, then I don't think people need to become expert, but they can spend a decent amount of time. Like platforms such as us, we do a lot of educational content. We, do a lot of even one-on-one sessions, right? These are phone calls and these are for free, right? So my, advisors are available for people to just like learn from them and all. So someone is trying to get started, there are plenty of free avenues available and you don't need to pay if you don't want to. And it's very easy, in my opinion. By spending a few hours, you can get yourself set up. There are a lot of personal finance blogs in Singapore.
Including ours.
Yes, exactly. These are great starting points. Why would you not spend the time and effort just going through some of these, picking up some of the most important, and then kickstarting your journey? As you go along in your journey, if you're still struggling, then you engage with advisors, especially if your needs become more complex, then definitely so.
Perfectly. Let's start concluding the session. I have questions, hopefully not taking much time. One is more of what you've mentioned. If you'd like to give a elevator pitch to the audience on SYFE, you have already talked about what services SYFE provides. But if someone is new to the idea of SYFE, doesn't know how companies like SYFE operate, what would be a 5-6 line pitch that you would give to them?
So I think SYFE is a great platform, whether someone is a beginner investor, someone who's an intermediate investor, or someone who's fairly sophisticated. We try to cater to each and every audience. SYFE is one of the most versatile platforms out there in the market. It gives you the choice in your hand. If you are someone who doesn't know how to kickstart your investment journey, we have managed portfolios that we give to our clients. So if you want to, for example, grow your wealth and invest into the global equity market, you don't know which ETFs to choose, how much proportion to put into them and how to rebalance, etc. You can take our core portfolios because these core, an equity 100, there is an equity 100 portfolio, very popular. Invest into some of the ETFs that we talked about, whether it is, the S&P 500, the QQQ, and also, on a global basis. We do for the allocation on behalf of clients, and we manage it, rebalance it, all of that, so that again, you don't need to. I think the power with strategies on our managed portfolios, which basically are catered to some of the most basic objectives of clients. So if you want to grow your wealth, you want to generate an income, right? So we have an income portfolio, we have a REIT portfolio.
Cool. Thank you, Ritesh, for giving so much of your time and such valuable advice. Thank you to the audience for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next one.